Okay, wonderful, 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 wonderful.
And you're loud and clear.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, guys. We may as well start off. Apologies if my mic was bad at the beginning there. I just normally play a bit of intro music before the show, but we'll just edit that in the post. So welcome, guys. You are listening to Into the Cyber State. Thank you for coming along. This is the premier public broadcast of Galactica Network. This is your blockchain for real people, for real privacy, for real digital ownership in the world's first cipher state. So you can join us by jumping on Zeely right now. You can follow kind of the journey there to citizenship. Best way, I guess, the quickest way to do that is to just jump on Google and Google like Galactica Zeely. You'll find the correct Zeely page, and you can get started on that. I've just got a couple of requests. We've got Hoss coming up. Good man. I'll get you on the code. Oh. Always technical issues. Anyway, welcome everyone. So essentially what Galactica is trying to do is take all those like endlessly thrown around buzzwords like real world assets and decentralized physical infrastructure networks, digital identity, decentralized society, and implement them all at the protocol level with a practical mix of privacy, identity, and on-chain social rules for users in this new on-chain nation that we're calling a cipher state. So if you're tired of the hype and you believe in Web3's potential, we are the ones making it happen. And welcome to the show. I'm just going to get up Triggs. Oh, I love Triggs. Let's get him up here. Just going to give you a little bit of a disclaimer, guys, before we go around and introduce everyone. It's very important to remember that myself, any team members, and anyone on the panel, we are your guides to navigating the cipher state, but we are not your financial advisors. So please don't ask any financial questions or we will go to jail. It's no fun. So our guests' opinions are their own and nothing said in this space constitutes financial or investment advice. Let's get on with it. Hoss, my friend, how are you doing, dude?
Doing well, man. Just chilling, enjoying life, you know. It was beautiful today. Had the top down, driving around. It was a good time, man. It's like, I love March. My birthday's in March, not only because of that, but where I'm at geographically, it's like the first time where like the weather can get like really warm for sustainable, you know, like a sustained period of time. And it's just like, all right, man, this is great because the winter time can be rough here at times where the sun doesn't come out. It's cold all the time. Well, not cold, but just cold. And like, you don't want to leave your house. And now it's like, yay, let's go.
Oh, yes. Yeah, sun's out, guns out, man. All right. So we've also got a couple of other people on the stage besides my favorite co-host, Hoss. We've got A-Star.Gala, Frederick, one of our main developers. How are you doing, Frederick?
Hello. Nice to be here again. Doing great. Excited about the topic and to listen what questions there are, what the community thinks about the testnet launching soon.
Hell yes. Yes, I cannot wait to get into that. Really can't. I'm trying to get you up, Triggs, and I can see you requesting. I'm trying to get you up. Trying to approve, maybe like jump off and then jump back on again. I'm not sure what that is. Unless Hoss, maybe you can try and invite Triggs up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I'll try. Let's see here.
Hey, wait, are you up? Are you up on the stage already, Triggs?
No, it's listener. I was gonna say sometimes, yeah. Like if they just leave and come back. It's all quirky sometimes. It could have been just because...
This is classic Elon. That's what this is.
Yeah.
We've also got what is this? Chuck Meme Coin. What's up, man? I just invited you up because obviously you're a new member of the community. Love to say hello to new members of the community. So welcome to the stage. How are you, dude?
Hello. I'm good.
Glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. Okay, so
straightforward.
I love it.
You gotta respect it. Like I'm good. I love it. Let's go.
I'm just waiting to hear from you. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to hear.
Okay, all right, man. Well, I'm glad you came up to say hi at least. So thank you. All right, everyone, well, get comfortable. If anyone listening does wish to speak, you are welcome to come up on stage. Just request. I request that everyone, please, who is listening right now, to jump down to the little purple pill in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Give us a like and a retweet on the space. It would really help. Gets the information out to more people. Gets Galactica out to more people. Always a good thing. So please give us that like and retweet. Only take a second of your time. It doesn't cost any money. It's a good thing. First things first, what we normally go through, guys, is a quick news section, and then we go through the main topic, which today is the testnet, Galactica's testnet. So absolutely huge, really excited about all this, and I want to try and give you as much information as we possibly can to get you in the best position you can be with the testnet. But first, as I say, we've got the news. I think first things first. Just give me 2 seconds here, guys. I apologize. I'm just trying to. I've managed to get lost in all my documents. I just don't know how much I hate having so many tabs on Chrome open that I can't find. Even like I've got maybe like 2 letters visible of each tab. I don't know if you guys have had that before.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
I heard that they want to give you some AI tools for sorting tabs in the future.
That's okay. As long as it's not like my old computer in which like the Chrome tabs took up like 50% of my computer's RAM. That was fun.
Yeah, that's why I stopped using it. I use Dissenter, which is a blockchain in Cosmos. They got rid of like the way that they built it out. They got rid of all the bloat and all the nonsense that your like computer doesn't need. The only issue that I get with them from time to time is whenever a chain does some sort of new update, at times it won't be ready to go. Like you might have some sort of wallet compatible issues, but it runs really good. Like mine, I have honestly, bro, like right now I probably have 8 different profiles up on 4 different screens, and I have like each one I probably have, I don't know, 15 tabs on each one of them, and I just keep them up all the time. Even when they're closed, they're still running, and then my RAM barely gets hit from it. But like if I was on Brave, 100% be crushed. Same thing with Chrome. I'd be 100% just crushed. My computer would be running like garbage.
Yeah, 100%. It's absolute madness. So yeah, I'll check out Dissenter for sure. And they're Cosmos anyway, right?
Yeah, and it's like the same thing. It's literally just like using Brave, but better. Like I said, I had the founder on a couple of times. I think we even had him on our show before.
Yeah, for sure. We've definitely had them on the early days.
Yeah, and he just like, I asked him about that. Like, what's the difference between the two? And he was telling me some things. But he's like, we just go in and we get rid of all the files and we update it way more often than like what Brave does and whatnot. So yeah, it does, man. I could tell you with 100% certainty. Like, I can't even like if I was using Brave and I had all this stuff up, I couldn't do anything. Even if I tried to like go on a video and watch like a YouTube video, my and I got a powerful rig and it wouldn't run real well. But now it's like I can just watch 15 videos and have everything up, and it just runs fine. It's all because of Dissenter.
100%, man. 100%. They're a great protocol and a great team. If you have a moment, guys, just search them on Twitter. You'll find them. Okay. So I just want to quickly introduce Triggs because we finally managed to get him up. So how are you doing, Triggs? What's up, man?
Good. Thanks for struggling through with me. You can hear me all right now?
I can hear you fine. I don't know about everyone else. I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with X today, but it's been rugged me on Spaces whenever I try to load in on desktop. You know, I've got like a nicer microphone on my desktop computer so that it, sounds better and people can hear me more clearly without all the weird background noise or whatever you sometimes get.
It's way better,
mobile.
But like the amount of bugs on desktop is crazy.
Yeah, it is driving me nuts.
I don't even try to use desktop, and I'm the same way. Like I have a studio set up. My setup, like not to flex on anyone, but it's real sick. And I don't use it. I only use it for crypto stuff besides Twitter. Like I use it to hop on calls and things of that nature. But I won't do it because the same thing. Like I try to do it one time and I had one bad experience. I'm like, I'm just not doing this because usually I'm hosting, so I can't afford to just have problems. I'm just like, all right, I'll just hold the dumb phone up to my mouth the whole time. But yeah, dude.
Yeah, totally. Man. Reliability over everything when you're doing the hosting stuff.
I would literally pay more. Like if Twitter was like, hey, for like, extra money, this is you can get like the best studio setup for audio or whatever. I would do it. Like I would pay $10 a month or something just for that. But yeah, it's not good. They need to get that going, and then we can be off to the races.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wonder if this is kind of like a side tangent, but I wonder if there's gonna ever be like a desktop resurgence in technology. It's like everything is so mobile centric. I don't know. Crypto is kind of like a little bit more desktop centric at first, but now everybody's like, oh, we got to do mobile. But like, I don't know. I do 90% of my work on desktop. I try to not do stuff on my phone just because it's so
I
distracting.
think that's called being a boomer, mate.
Yeah, well, it is, but like, yeah, it was embarrassing. Side note was when I was at Denver. You know, we're exchanging contacts with people, and they're like, oh, they're pulling out their phones, doing like 15 things, and I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I'm a desktop guy too, because like, why do I want to look at a little screen when I have 4 27-inch monitors? Like, you know what I mean? It's just I want to look at big ass shit, not little tiny text. It's just like I am a boomer. Whatever, screw it. I'm a boomer.
Nah. The UX on desktop is just better in most cases. I must admit.
It's chilling. I feel like I'm in the Matrix when I'm on my desktop.
Where you got like 5 monitors and stuff. I can't handle that. I can only do one. Like I can do one monitor on my phone. Otherwise, I'm just like, where are my eyes going? I don't even know. Anyway, guys, let's get on with the news. I finally find out where I put my news. So thank you for waiting. So first things first, guys. 74k Bitcoin. Anyone want to put a thumbs up in the chat? I thought that was pretty cool. And we've also got record over $1 billion in net inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs. Let me just check, since that was 1 billion in one day. Wow. Okay, that's cool. So that was on Tuesday. So well done, crypto. Well done, Web3. I think we're starting to rock it again, and I'm enjoying it. The second thing, we've got the European Union, which is approving new sanction violation rules to include measures for freezing crypto assets. So the European Union's AML and regulatory framework is kind of it's getting more settled. It's getting more set in stone. We've seen a bunch of new regulatory decisions coming out of Europe over the past month or so. And honestly, none of them are too scary. Like, none of them are too bad. There are a few that are worthy of further debate and further refinement. But I'm not too worried by most of EU's laws under the MiCA framework. So I'm quite happy with that, being in Europe myself. Let's just go on to it. Let's go for a very quick question to the panel, I think, on that one. So what do you guys think of your, I think I've actually asked this question maybe 5 months ago to you guys, to at least you, Hoss, and Frederick. What do you guys think of the current regulatory landscape in your country? So Hoss for you, the US, and Frederick for the EU and MiCA.
Yeah, so for the US, it was more of the lack of and just the misunderstanding from people that were talking about it within politics. Like, they were speaking about it, and you could tell they don't know anything, literally anything, right? And it's like they have these points of views, or they're having bankers talk about it, like Jamie Dimon and whatnot. It's like, well, can we get real people talking about it that actually know what they're talking about? Ex TradFi people that got into crypto, or just crypto native people that have been in the space, for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Because that's what's cool about this space, is that if you are a student of the space, your intellect, when it comes to your crypto knowledge, is it's far superior than someone that has some fancy PhD degree in whatever, like economics or something. Like, what does that person know anything about crypto? Like, they don't know anything. So for them, it's a little bit misleading and misguiding when you have people talking about crypto that are just traditional finance people. Like, they don't know anything about crypto. So from that standpoint, it was a little discouraging. But it seems like, like I said, but we've been saying for months upon months on this space, is that Grayscale is going to get what they want. Larry Fink gets what Larry Fink wants, and all of a sudden the tune is changing over there with a lot of these lifers, these boomer lifers that are politicians. Now it's like once they can figure out a way that they can make money, or not necessarily make money, but help fund their campaigns, and then it's just like the green light. That's politics 101 for America. I don't know if that's like everywhere, but here that's what it is. So once they can figure out, oh well, Bitcoin good, but now can I get like 2% of Grayscale, or can I get 1% to fund like this political campaign or whatever? You know what I mean? So like once they could do that, then it's just like the floodgates open. Now, when it comes to freezing assets, I don't know. Like, it's kind of odd in a sense. Like, I guess you can blacklist. You can like look at addresses and do that, but that would be more of an attack vector, in my opinion, from like centralized exchanges. Like, I don't know how like you could just like, oh well, let me just stop this wallet, right? I guess if there's USDC, maybe they can go through Circle or something, but I don't know how you freeze wallets, to be honest with you.
No, I think this is more arresting someone and then convincing them to actually give you access to the damn wallet, and then and going at it that way. I think that's pretty much the route they're looking at here.
Yeah, I guess you could do that, but like at the end of the day, like the person, you can't force the person.
No. I mean, this is literally like a $5 wrench attack, isn't it? That's pretty much the only method.
Yeah, I guess in a sense, you could do that. Anyone could technically do that, and I wouldn't recommend doing that. But like, that's one of the attack vectors on people in this space. I guess you can personally go after them, but I mean, you could do that anytime, I guess, right? But then even if you did do that, then that person's like, oh, well, that was my wallet address, and then it's on the blockchain, so you'll be able to know. Oh,
I think there's it's just way too easy to have multiple wallet addresses, hide your funds. This isn't going to be effective legislation for sure.
Oh no, because like even if you weren't necessarily trying to hide something, I personally recommend to everyone to have several wallets, just because if like something happens to one of your wallets or whatever, you know what I mean? Like shit, like you know, I don't even know how many wallets I have, and it's not because I'm trying to hide anything. One, it is kind of annoying if someone finds out your wallet, then they can like just bother you about stuff. Oh, you got this NFT and that NFT, and then you got this, and you're doing this and that. Like it's not your business. So like from that, I guess you can mask it by having more wallets, but also it's just like an attack vector. What happens if someday you were half out of it, or you were drinking and you clicked on some malicious link? What's cool about Cosmos is you really can't drain a wallet. Like you can drain that particular protocol. Like if it's like, oh yeah, you clicked on something bad and it was like, whatever chain you're on, technically they could probably drain that, but they can't drain the entire wallet because it's all like different keys for everything. So that's kind of a better thing in our in Cosmos compared to say like like Solana or like monolithic approaches. Like if you're just doing everything on one chain, it's like that's such a huge attack vector, because if someone does get access to your wallet because you click on some nefarious link or something, then they drain your wallet instantly. As opposed to Cosmos, if there was a way to do it, it's going to take them a long time because there's so many different L1s. So but yeah, man, I highly recommend to have more than one wallet. If you're like, oh, I'm a Ledger person, well, I mean, I don't have to tell you, Ledger gives you a false sense of security. But if you want to do it, then buy more ledgers. Then have 10.
I mean,
ledgers.
that's the whole thing. Like decentralization is just one of those things that it helps with security regardless of the situation most of the times. If you decentralize your assets, then it's far less likely that a single vector of attack is going to get you. That it's just that simple. Frederick, what do you reckon about the MiCA regulation in its current form, specifically, I guess, with this particular these sanction violation rules?
Yeah. So in general, I really appreciate that the EU is recognizing the crypto space and trying to get some clarity there. But I think it's really unfortunate that they are always lagging so far behind. That, for example, the MiCA regulation does not cover all the cool DeFi stuff we're doing right now. And also that there are always some particular points which are kind of questionable, like the travel rule, or what a crypto service provider actually is, and how far this definition goes is still a bit unclear in my opinion. And
100%. I think it's just very awkward. The relationship between like traditional finance, government, and crypto land is just so very awkward right now. That's one of the primary value adds of Galactica itself. Actually, is trying to make this on chain off chain relationship way more sensible and make and just allow people to move the way they want to move in the decentralized, free and sovereign manner, while also allowing you to remain compliant. I think that's absolutely huge. And it's something that will really help in this context of, multiple regional regulatory frameworks, and just the general confusion that comes out of this kind of thing. Being able to regulate things at the DApp level, in allowing them to just basically decide, where this traffic is coming from, how to regulate that, who to allow to use the protocols, all this kind of thing. I think it's just going to be an absolute game changer. I think you might have actually been about to continue, Frederick. I'm sorry if I interrupted you.
No, it's totally right. I agree with your opinion there.
No worries. So this kind of actually leads very neatly on to the next piece of news. There's this think tank, we'll call it a think tank, called the Leo. They've released a new study that shows basically that no one trusts crypto with regards to privacy. So this think tank found that 67% of consumers want products or solutions that protect user data and allow for privacy. However, only 10% expressed high trust in crypto firms when it comes to data privacy and security. So that's pretty big old discrepancy there. Now, obviously, crypto is pseudonymous in nature, but that's still pretty big. I mean, I thought that they might have at least scored a bit better on the security front in the average person's eyes. So 14% said they had a fair amount of trust in blockchain-based organizations. It's pretty low. And they say that just in comments that this lack of trust is seen as a paradox given crypto's foundation in cryptography and blockchain and obviously that kind of security. They polled around 2,200 people with a 2% margin of error. So this is a decent study. So what do you guys think on this one? What do you guys think about privacy in general? Go on, Frederick. You go for this one, man.
So the first thought I have is that it's not about trust in blockchain-based organizations. It should be more like trust in the math behind it, in the protocols behind it. So I think this is a point where maybe the education of the people is missing on what this space is actually about and how it works. And that, of course, you should be careful with centralized organizations offering services for crypto, be it, I don't know, Binance, FTX, or whatever. But that there are some really cool solutions where you don't need this trust anymore, and where you have permissionless systems. And I think if people get a bit more education, or if it gets simpler to understand, I think that this might actually turn around and make blockchain-based solutions more trustworthy than traditional solutions like
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more, Frederick. This really does open up that whole can of worms that hardly anyone even knows what crypto is yet. I don't think most people even understand just how early we are in this space yet. I know it's been going for 13 to 15 years. It's been going for a decent amount of time, but it's such a complex and overarching set of infrastructures and services that you have to make decentralized, that it's just taken this long to even get to the point where we are. And even at this point, after this amount of development time, we haven't even scratched the surface of educating people on any of this. To be honest, on any of it, like you say, people are conflating blockchain-based organizations with the protocols themselves, and a lot of these blockchain-based organizations, I kind of assuming that a lot of those are going to be things like meme coin teams and stuff. I don't know. You just don't know with these kind of things.
It's like the people don't visualize things. Like the best way to understand anything in life, especially crypto and technology, is to like use metaphors, analogies, or visualizations. It's like an L1 is essentially, think of it as building the skyscraper, right? The building can have 150, 200 businesses within it. Does the person that essentially built the skyscraper, are they held accountable because one of those businesses in there bellies up or becomes a rug or just as a bad individual or entity? Like, no, like you can't control what every single business does within your building. As long as they're paying the rent and all that, it's like, who cares? Like, you don't, obviously if they're being out of control, you have people who complain, but like you can't control other people, what they do or they don't do, right? So it's like, to sum up every L1 in this, like, I don't know, this shoebox, right? It's like Ethereum, for example. I don't know how many protocols are built on Ethereum. There's probably been, I don't know, there's a shitload of them. And I'm sure there's been so many rug pulls and scams or whatever, but is it Ethereum's fault or anyone that invests in the actual Ethereum? No, like that's just part of it, right? And I don't know why people think like that, or they think, oh, crypto. Even the stupid FTX thing happened. It had nothing to do with crypto. Like literally 0.00% had to do with anything with crypto. If anything, the real world had more to do with it, and like politicians and like those type of entities had more at play than actual crypto did. So I don't. It's just such a weird. Call it, the word would be like a quagmire. It's like you can't stop like what people do or they don't do on your protocol, especially if it's permissionless. That's the beauty of permissionless. Like, yeah, there's going to be amazing things that are built, and there's probably going to be, sadly, some shady shit that's built. But I mean, it's up to the end user. Like, I don't want refunds. Like, I lost a lot of money when UST went to shit and Luna went to shit. But I'm not calling anyone asking for a refund. Like, it is what it is. I'm a grown individual, a grown man that made my own decisions up. Like that's how I want. I think most people want that. Maybe other people that are in the space, they want some sort of like rail of security or whatever, but I guess most people probably would want that. That's why they only buy Bitcoin when it's at $72,000. But several months ago when it was at like 19, it's like, oh well, Bitcoin's going to zero. But now they're like, oh, let's buy Bitcoin, it's at 72,000. So it's hard. It's just it's just such a, humans are very weird. That's all I could say. They're very weird.
Yeah, we're a strange species. I'll give you that.
Very strange.
Triggs, man, go on, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate everybody's opinion on this. I'll be the contrary in a little bit just for the sake of fleshing out the discussion. But I think that this report really shines a light on how early the ecosystem is on an infrastructure level. Because you're right, like there's a huge education gap, right, with helping people to understand what crypto is and how crypto provides things like security and privacy. But like to continue the analogy component that Haas was talking about, because I agree, analogies are a great way to understand technology. It's not the L1's fault as the skyscraper if a business in there, does something inappropriate. But it is the L1's fault if they don't have appropriate locks on all the doors, and so somebody has like a skeleton key that can get into every single room in the building. That is up to the L1. Or if the L1 doesn't put lights in the hallways, and so when people are trying to find the correct office, they accidentally end up at the wrong door because there's no light and they can't see where they're going. Like that is that is the skyscraper's fault, and crypto is no different from that. And so I think we're really early to this infrastructure level, and a lot of these L1s probably aren't going to exist in 5 years because they built infrastructure that overlooks a really key component of actual use cases. And I think that's where we fail as an ecosystem, is we spend so much time and energy and money building ideas that developers think are really ingenious for some technological reason, but they fail to define the use case around how actual end users are going to engage with this technology. And that use case oftentimes shines a light on how the technology needs to be different on an infrastructure-based level. I mean, just look at like what Galactica is building with privacy and security as a foundational component. And that's something that 90% of the other chains out there aren't even thinking about. And it is a crucial component that most people, when you think about use cases, you look at this report, only 14% of people actually think there's any privacy or security in crypto, because nobody's building stuff like Galactica is to have privacy and security as a foundational component, even though technically speaking, the math of cryptography does assure some level of security, but it doesn't really address the use case of how users need security. What does security mean to the actual end user?
I mean, it's security in numbers, but not in people. It's just the epitome of like, it's the human problem. So I think there's a lot to be said for that. So there's, hang on, let's see here. Sorry, 2 seconds. I'm just trying to do some little administration while I'm talking. It's generally a bad idea. So like I was actually talking on a space with a couple of people a while back about the like kind of stagnation of crypto development. Now, not stagnation in probably the way that you're thinking, but in like the way that the actual type and scope of the protocols and services and dApps being developed is very small. It's very like we've basically been iterating and refining on like the services that have been around since 2017. You know, it's, you know, DEXs and financial protocols of all sorts, pretty much, you know, and it's all still working on the idea that we are like a free and sovereign Wild West, that we're still a Wild West. You know, it's if you're free and sovereign in a Wild West, you're still a Wild West. And a Wild West is very difficult to integrate into the real world. So we've just basically been, like, say, refining and iterating on that same premise for the last, like, 7 years or whatever it's been since, you know, all these basic, you know, decentralized dApps have come out. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing such a push into all these decentralized identity kind of narratives now of you know, getting the more human element to become the primary value driver on blockchains, and it's a long time coming. It really is. And I think, you know, like you said, Triggs, thank you very much for shouting out Galactica there. I think we're probably providing the most like the biggest. I don't know, I wouldn't say the biggest, but like the most all-encompassing vision of having humanity on chain and all the benefits that come from having real people represented on chain in a secure and private manner. So yeah, I think it's a long time coming. But I don't like. What do you guys think of that particular point? That like we haven't really actually advanced that far in development of like DeFi, for example, in the last 7 years.
I tend to agree with it. I mean, I think the security's gotten a lot better. You know, maybe not necessarily in EVM world, but I mean, Cosmos. You know, there's only been like one, maybe two different scenarios with some smart contract stuff, but you know, the money was refunded and all that. But as for cross chain interoperability, there's been $0.00 lost, and you know, like malicious acts and whatnot. So like I think in a sense like the security and the availability has gotten a lot better. Now when it comes to pushing DeFi forward, I mean I don't know. Yeah, yes and no. I mean it's tough because everyone's kind of they've been building things in the last several years. We'll just say last 3 or 4 years in particular, with really out the blessings of like anyone. You know, like everyone's been attacking them, and I think that's why privacy is like really far behind the ball. Is because people who really wants to try to keep attempting to do that. People are getting like persecuted for no reason. Like you know they're just building out infrastructure and then they get in trouble for whatever reason. You know, it's like no, so it's been kind of difficult in that sense. But yeah, I think once there's privacy being able to be deployed throughout all of it, then you can build different cool use cases and other things that aren't built right now. Because yeah, in a sense, it's just like almost a lot of copying and pasting. Maybe you add like one little sprinkle to the top of the cake or whatever, but it's still kind of the same cake as it was before. And so I tend to agree. It's generally like just different markets, right? It's almost like you had all these stores that were mom and pops, and then all of a sudden, Walmart and Targets came in, and it's like, how much different is one Target in my location compared to somewhere else across the country or something? It's pretty much the same exact store, right? It's kind of what sadly a lot of the DeFi has kind of turned into. It's just okay, yeah, cool. It's a different logo, different colors, but it does the same thing that this other one does. Can we stop building the same shit over and over and over, right? So I agree for the most part.
Yeah, and I mean, it's difficult to argue that it's just, maybe it is just the fact that we haven't been able to. It could just be a simple case that we don't have privacy. We have pseudonymity, but we don't have privacy. And the second that anyone, the second that you transact with anyone, they know they know everything in your wallet, they know your full transaction history, they know everything about you. And that's really tricky to square. That's really tricky to square when you're dealing with finances. One of the reasons why I'm sure everyone here has multiple wallets for that very reason. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, I kind of want to just skip on down because firstly, I would like to just do a quick room reset. I'd like to thank you guys very much for coming and joining us today. You are listening to Into the Cypher State, premier public broadcast for Galactica Network. I would really, really thank you for your time. If you could jump down to the bottom right in the purple pill, give us a like and a retweet on the space. Really, really would be thankful for that. It gets the information out to way more people, and it's generally a lot of value on this show. At least if we can help it, we try to. And then also, I have pinned to the top of this space in what a lot of people seem to be calling the Jumbotron, is our new Galaxy campaign. So this is awesome. It's a good way to start earning your GNC alongside our Zeely campaign. Obviously, Galaxy is all on chain. It's great fun. It just basically funnels you down into the cipher state. Love that. So if you can just jump onto that pin tweet, you'll find out how to get involved. Just have to go through Galaxy. I'm sure you guys have done a Galaxy quest or two before. It's just the same thing. It's just more interesting because it's us. Okay. So we're just going to jump on now and go into the testnet stuff because I know you guys have all been waiting for that. So the idea here is to give you guys as much information as we can and answer as many questions that have come up in the Discord as is humanly possible. So the first things first, I guess. Frederick, are you okay with answering a few of these questions? Because probably a lot of this kind of relates to you and tech and stuff. So,
and
awesome.
Anyone in the space, you can also ask questions.
Awesome. So, guys, you heard Frederick. So, if you would like to come up and just request to speak, we're happy to answer some live questions as well. We've got a bunch of them from the Discord, and I've got my own questions to ask. But if you want to ask your own, then jump up. Or you can ask them in the comments, and we will see if we can drag some out of the comments too. Okay, everyone. So, first things first, it's a massive, massive deal. So, the testnet is kind of huge for us. Sometimes it might not feel like as big as it is because it's like an extension of the DevNet, and it's kind of like a really seamless transition between the DevNet and the testnet. But some of the stuff that's coming online or will be coming online very soon is absolutely huge and some of my favorite parts of the protocol. So let's just kind of break this down into like manageable chunks with some questions, because otherwise I'll just end up going on a massive rant. No one wants that. So first things first, Frederick, what makes this more than just another test environment on yet another L1? That's a really simple question, but...
Okay. what makes it different than other testnets around is, I think, to some degree, also what makes Galactica different. So you have the social aspect, that it's not about total value logged, it's not about the airdrops, but I think it's a lot about the social aspect of participating, building up reputation, getting the citizenship. So this is one area I'm really excited about. And another area I'm excited about is the technology behind it that's really interesting for devs and protocols that can do compliant privacy on Galactica. So that you have these zero-knowledge proofs to prove data without revealing your information, and that we are getting further and further to maturing this. And one specific thing I'm really excited about in the testnet is also that we are further generalizing the zero-knowledge certificates, so that there's not only ZK KYC, but you can also do more ZK certificates. For example, the first one we are going to launch is that you can import data from Twitter and use it in a private way on chain.
That's awesome, man. For anyone who's lacking context, ZK certificates or zero knowledge certificates, they're essentially soulbound tokens. So like non-transferable tokens that stay in your wallet and just yours forever. But they're tokens that allow you to selectively disclose the information contained with them. So it's super helpful for private disclosures of data that that you can prove your off-chain data, like data that you hold. You can prove that to other people without giving away the data itself. It's the beauty of ZK and it's the beauty of Galactica Network. So it's really helpful in the social context. So again, we kind of know that privacy is non-negotiable. It's one of the reasons why we've built Galactica Network. And we've been testing the ZK KYC implementation on the DevNet for a couple of months now. Can you kind of give us an indication of some of the technical refinements that you're most proud of regarding maybe how ZK KYC itself works and whether there are any differences with ZK KYC on testnet, or is it just kind of the same and just like an evolution of?
So I'm proud in general about what we have with zero knowledge certificates, because it's so awesome that you can use your personal data on chain for something like proving that you're adult or proving that you're not on the sanction list or whatever, but still keep the privacy, that none of your age, date of birth, or your name gets leaked on chain. And I think this is really nice because it enables so many new use cases. And what the difference is from between what we launched with in the DevNet and we have what we are going to launch with in the testnet is that first it's a gradual improvement. So we got based on the feedback we got from users and KYC guardians. Special thanks to Swissborg in this regard. Is also that we now know much better what concrete data fields are in the ZK KYC, that we know better how the process should work after ZK KYC is issued. That, for example, entities running KYC procedures need the ability to revoke KYCs again. So we are adding this into the protocol. And on user-focused aspect, I think it's really cool that we made the transition from our MetaMask snap that is used as a wallet to hold your zero-knowledge certificates in self-custody and to also generate the proofs in self-custody on your own machine, that this has finished the auditing process and is now available also in the stable MetaMask extension. So the transition we already did during the DevNet, but now in the testnet, it's clear for everyone that you can use it in the stable MetaMask extension and you don't have to install a development version of this.
That's absolutely awesome. And for reference, guys, I mean, I was talking to the Consensus guys last year when we were just putting this stuff out there. And Frederick, you've been talking to them since. Pretty sure they've already mentioned just how complex this snap is compared to most other snaps. It's really impressive stuff. So well done on the devs team side.
And then one more gradual improvement is also the generalization that now we have these data guardians instead of just KYC guardians, and you can onboard data from social networks like Twitter.
Hell yes, yes, absolutely. So instead of just being able to prove, that I'm over 18, which I am, by the way, or that I live in a non-sanctioned country, I can also prove how the age of my Twitter account, that I've followed a certain person for a certain amount of time, any number of social metrics which might become an important part of your social graph. And then inform maybe some services or some airdrops or something like that. You can basically take your Web 2 data and turn it into something valuable in Web 3, which is awesome because it's kind of like the opposite of the Google model. So it's you're taking control of your own data and I guess monetizing it yourself rather than allowing everyone else to monetize it except you, which is really cool. I really like that part. So what have we actually announced within our little testnet announcement that we did? We talked about proto governance. We talked about reputation. Basically, just advancing the entire cyberstate vision, I guess. So this is we've gone from just ZK KYC in the DevNet to within this testnet, not specifically this phase, but within this testnet. We'll be getting the governance and reputation features, which are absolutely huge. The first part of this testnet, though, this first phase, I don't know the exact timings right now. I think it's in the realm of a month or something. Is going to be all to do with validation. So anyone who wants to become a validator, what you want to do is jump onto our Discord and jump into our testnet discussion channel. Because there's an awful lot going on in there. There's an awful lot of knowledgeable people in there who can help you out, and basically walk you through the developer documentation. There's an awful lot to go through, so I can't really go through too much technical detail up here. But what I can tell you, for example, is that you just need basic understanding of Linux and just Linux commands. And you'll need suitable hardware. So right now we've got on the website that for a validator you'll need a quad-core CPU with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 400 gigabytes of disk space to be either validator or a relay. So that's a real baseline. You'll probably want a little more if you want to be super future-proofed, but this will do for now and at least maybe years into the mainnet, hopefully. But if you want to be super future-proofed, then go for more, obviously. But this should be a really good baseline. So maybe Frederick, you can just have a word maybe on the validation side of things, and what you kind of expect from the first few weeks of the testnet.
Yeah, sure. So the node validation is also what I think is the main difference between the DevNet we have currently and the new testnet is that the community will run the nodes, and we will provide some infrastructure to bootstrap it. So a couple of seed nodes to get into the peer-to-peer network, and then I'm basically expecting that users in the community want to try it out, want to run their node, get experience how to do it, and then see how the network is growing. I'm expecting that we can do also some performance measures to do benchmarks to further spec out what the requirements for a node are and how the network behaves, if there's more or less load. And also, I think one really important thing is that we as a community test out and try the process of upgrading, because during the testnet, we want to launch more features like governance and reputation later, and being able as a community to decide on what the next node software will be and have the process in place that the majority of the nodes are ready for this upgrade, I think is really important. And otherwise, I'm already quite excited to see what's going on in the Discord, that people are already helping out each other, writing additional documentation in other languages, how to set up a node, how to do it for cloud services, and so on. So this is really great, and this is what I like to see.
100%, man. Yeah, I literally, I've got goosebumps half the time I'm thinking about the testnet. It's just going to be an absolutely awesome time. And if there's just going to be announcement after announcement after announcement during this phase, we're just going to be going from like tech announcement to tech announcement. It's going to be great. Like I say, I'm so looking forward to, like, obviously I want everyone, the community, to get involved in running their own validators. That's going to be absolutely massive, and it's going to be a real community building kind of event there as well. But also, like beyond that, like the proto governance and the reputation features that are coming after that. It's going to get really exciting around here, guys. This is the stuff that's going to like really actually change Web3. It's the stuff that makes like Galactica so ridiculously unique. So you've seen the ZK KYC stuff. You know, actually being able to prove yourself on chain, absolutely huge. Being able to prove like your entire social graph and being able to build a valid reputation, as well as being able to use your identity and your reputation to actually govern in a protocol, which is like in scope, it's the same level as a nation state. It's just beyond words. Like this is just Web3 but different. So just pay attention to everything, guys. It's going to get absolutely crazy. So yeah, what have we also got here? We've got the new Voyager Arc campaign, which is going to be coming along with this, guys. So what Voyager Arc is, it's essentially like an incentivized DevNet discovery campaign. It lets you it rewards you for doing testnet things, and for doing testnet things like running a validator node, like for getting involved in the governance and the reputation features when they come up. It will allow you to get a GNC I think probably more quickly than most other methods. So it's a very, very valuable thing. So check out the new Voyager Arc campaign when that comes out. So this is also in addition, guys. So like you can earn a GNC in the Cypher State campaign. You can earn a GNC in the Voyager Arc campaign. You can earn a GNC in the Sentinels program if you decide that you have like specific value that you feel like you can add to Galactica. You can apply for the Sentinels program. Happy to have you. And that's probably your quickest way, and one of the only ways to get like a Wave 1 or Wave 2 GNC. So there's a lot of ways to get GNCs, and they add up. So you can get multiple GNCs. You can only have one GNC for yourself, obviously. Your citizenship is linked to your ZK KYC, so you can only have one GNC for yourself. But the other GNCs, you are able to give away or sell or whatever you want to do with them. So it's very, very valuable. We've actually got someone new on stage. Welcome, Chris. I have seen you around in the community a lot. I haven't said hello yet. I do apologize. Welcome, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, hello, everyone. Thank you that I have the opportunity to talk today. I have a specific question now about the use case. Frederick was talking about the Twitter data. Can you give us, the community, like the use case, what the use is really for, like having those data on the CK certificate?
So like the Twitch data is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for like in the case of Twitch, it might be something as simple as...
I think you said Twitter, right?
Oh, yeah, Twitter as well. I'm just saying in social platforms. So we're basically, the Guardian system that we use is capable of importing just about any data you want, depending on which Guardian you're using. Like, so if you have a Guardian that's going to be importing, we use X as an example, or Twitter, because obviously that's probably going to be one of the first Guardians to come online with that. But Twitch still applies to Twitch as well. So essentially, it allows you to bring social data from like your followers took part in a certain event on Twitter. They did something with a post. They had been following you for a number of years. Some kind of social metric which informs an on-chain event, like an airdrop or like access to a DAO. And all of this while maintaining the privacy of your on-chain address. So that's pretty massive, I think. Frederick, if you have something else to add on that, please do. But I think that's, the crux of it.
Yeah, I think one of the most important use cases, or one of the main motivations behind it, is to have input data for user reputation. So that we do not alone rely on Guardians issuing a KYC to prove that you're human, but that there's also some social data to back up that there is a human with real activity behind it. So in the Twitter certificate, there are some various data fields, for example, about how old your account is, how many followers you have, how many interactions you had with different tweets and so on. So it's basically this databases we need to make sure that there are real people behind it, and to measure in a way how important people are for the community.
There you go, Chris. If you have any follow-up questions, or if you feel that didn't answer your question, please, you're more than welcome to continue if you want to.
It's okay for now. Thanks.
Okay, super cool. Okay, guys. So I'm just going to just take a quick break at this point. Just to first say thank you guys for joining, and please give us a like and a retweet on the space if you can, using the bottom right, using the purple pill in the bottom right. And secondly, does anyone on the stage have like any specific questions before we carry on? If you do, actually just raise your hand. Just raise your hand if you have a question at some point in the very near future. Again, guys, if you want to, you are more than welcome to come up on stage. Just request to speak. We're happy to have you. Okay, so let's have a look here. So I guess, what is the best way for people to like give good feedback, Frederick? Like, what kind of feedback are you really looking for in this first stage? I assume it's mostly like validation stuff, but like, how can we kind of get our questions answered, all this kind of thing?
So for me, one of the easiest ways is probably in Discord, because in Discord, everyone will see it and everyone will see the answer. So it won't be answered, or the question will not be raised 100 times. And then at some point, we can also move the frequently asked questions, or the important ones, to the FAQ and the tech documentation. And I think that the tech documentation is also one of the main points where I would like to know what the feedback is, so how easy it is to understand. If there are some edge cases that we have not covered in the documentation, I don't know if you use a special Linux distribution or something like this. And otherwise everything that's popping up as issues would be really nice to know.
Absolutely. At this point, I'd also like to just shout out the Sentinels and the sterling work that they are doing right now. If you see anyone with a Sentinel role in Discord, be sure, if you have like a specific question that you think really needs urgently answering, or that is just like not already in the feed of questions, just give them a poke or give them a tag in the chat. Because they will be able to advance those questions with some more urgency if they believe that is genuinely an urgent question. The Sentinels, again, absolutely sterling job that they've been doing so far. You've probably seen them all about in the chat in Discord. They add massive value to the Galactica network. They are our community leaders. They're our ambassadors. They are our governance leaders. They are just they are one of the primary facets of Galactica Network and at the community level. Again, if you would like to join the Sentinels program, if you feel like you can add that kind of value to Galactica, you are more than welcome to join it. I think I can probably rely on maybe Tildorn. He's in the chat right now, one of our Sentinels. If you could drop the link to the Sentinels form or something like that, or just one of whichever link is most relevant in the Discord, then we can get people on this call to action there. Okay, guys. So after all those questions from me, I think it's probably a good idea to go to some of the community questions. So we have one from Flora HNB. I've seen Flora about in the chat quite a bit. They've been and on X, in fact. So shout out to you. And they ask if we run a validator in the testnet, will this help to gain the GNC, as it will be mandatory to run a validator on the mainnet, even if we don't have a high rank in the CipherState campaign. So it would probably help, to be running, to be trying to gain your GNC. But in the testnet, you won't need to have a GNC, I don't believe. Is that correct, Frederick?
Yeah, it's correct. So to be able to produce blocks, you just need to set up the validator and also delegate some GNet tokens to it. And so you can get a few GNet for transaction fees from the faucet. And if you need more to actually run a validator and delegate this portion to it, you can write us and we will send it to you. So
okay.
This is what it is about the GNC. This will be later.
Perfect. So there you go, Flora. If you have any follow-up questions, please add them to the AMA questions channel, and we will get them answered as quickly as we can. We have another question from A. Flory. This is a new person to me, but thank you very much for asking the question. So A. Flory says, does anyone know if a DAP node support for the testnet node operation is part of the plan? So I don't know if we actually know this one, Frederick. Do you have any information on that?
It's a really good question. Something I did not think about before. So I'm really happy about it. So at the moment, there is no pre-built setup for the step node platform. At the moment, we just have the instructions to set up a Linux server, no matter if it's running on bare metal or if it's running as a virtual private server in the cloud. But I think this is something we will look into, and basically if we script together the setup a bit better, I think it's not so difficult to prepare DevNode support.
Okay, no worries at all. There you go. Flory, again, if you have any follow-ups, please do. I think it's David who's trying to get up on the speaker panel right now. You're more than welcome. I'm trying to accept your request. I've just sent it again. If you can't get on, I think it might be that you need to go off the space and then come back on. I'm not entirely sure. I have tried to request to accept your request. So we have another question here. So this is from Chris B11. Again, this is a new person to me, so welcome to the community. Any new members to the CipherState?
That's me, actually.
My goodness, Chris B. I should have seen that one coming from that username, shouldn't I? Chris, I don't know if you want to ask the question. I'll read out what you said. So what can you do with the testnet when you're not a validator? Is it the same as with the DevNet, or is there something else? Frederick, I don't know.
So first, everything you can do on DevNet, you can also do on the testnet. Otherwise, it depends a bit on what you mean with a validator. So you can run a blockchain node without producing blocks. So you can still permissionlessly and without trusting our block explorer validate what transactions there are on chain. and otherwise it's the things we're going to launch during the testnet. So the governance, the data guardians, and later also the reputation.
There you go, Chris. Personally, I'm really looking forward to the data guardian stuff. That's going to be impressive. Do you have any follow-up questions, Chris, or if you just have another question while you're up here, seeing as I kind of stole your question from you?
No, it's okay. I think I asked that question really early when there was talk about testnet. So yeah, I was talking about if you don't run a node yourself, if you don't have a VPS or a machine at home. So that was the question, right? But I think you answered it.
Perfect. Absolutely brilliant. So thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. And obviously, I do know you. So my first comment about you not knowing you is untrue. So thanks for being part of the community, man. Frederick, you got your hand up, please.
Yeah, and the thing about it, I think there's also one additional thing that will be special to the testnet compared to the devnet, is just because other people are going to be able to launch their own nodes. There's also much more opportunity for other people to deploy projects on the testnet. So even if you as a user do not run your own node, you can expect that there are more projects to launch on the testnet that you can use them.
100%, and we are really looking forward to collaborating with builders during the testnet. We've got some really, really cool people lined up to make some very special dApps with use cases that, again, you've just not seen before on other blockchains. Stuff that just really does integrate and mesh with the real world a lot more seamlessly than you've ever seen. Again, with Galactica's basic properties of allowing you to maintain your privacy while being able to prove yourself. So again, it's just so many real world use cases that become possible on this particular blockchain, the way it's been implemented, the way it's been built. I couldn't be more excited for this particular stage and this testnet. Like I say, each phase of this testnet is going to bring something brand new and something special, and new use cases being unlocked with each phase. So it's going to be absolutely amazing. First, just before I read out any more questions from the community, anyone who's up on the stage, Hoss, mate, Chris, Triggs, if you have any particular questions that you would like to ask, then just put up your hand and we'll ask them after I've just read out these last couple of questions. So the next one is from Matt Joe. So it's any info on when the testnet will actually be live, and will we be able to finally run our own nodes? So yes, we will definitely be able to run our own nodes. That's going to be one of the primary things that happens first, Matt Joe. As far as when exactly the testnet will be live, we've said in the article that it will be the third week of March. Frederick, is there any update to that? Has it been pushed at all, or is it still around then?
I don't really know because I'm not in charge of the timeline, and I'm not doing the product management. I'm more in the specific development part. So I think what's missing is the final Genesis JSON. So the config data you need to know what the initial state of the chain will be. And everything else is already in place. So you can install the node. You can also get a test Genesis from our GitHub. But I think we just need to publish this final Genesis JSON, and then we can run it. So
Beautiful.
we set March, I think, and this is the plan.
Absolutely beautiful, Frederick. There you go, guys. So as far as I'm aware, also, we are still on track for the third week of March. It will be within March regardless, so you don't have that long to wait, not at all. So make sure that if you are intending to take the leap and start and maybe learn how to run a validator node, that you are prepared in the next couple of weeks for that. All the documentation you can actually find on our website. So you'll need to go to, let me just find the flow for you. So it will be going to the website. You'll want to click on developer documentation. So the developer zone and then developer documentation. And within there, you'll find out like the exact steps for setting up your validator node with code snippets, with minimum specs, all this stuff that you will need. So check it out there. Okay. And finally, we have Linley, who simply asks, how does one get started on the testnet? This one, we will actually be producing a lot more documentation as the testnet gets closer in the next week or two. We'll also hopefully be producing some videos which will simplify things. But the actual best way to get started with the testnet is to get yourself involved with the current DevNet, the CipherState campaign, and everything surrounding it. So basically that will give you like a head start and some preparation. So I think the best way to, I can always give, like, the best thing I always tell people to do is to jump onto Zealy, because that's the easiest way to hit every point. And that's to, follow that quest line that we've set out. The quest line is there and it's been very well planned out. It basically gives you all the information you will need to cover every facet of Galactica Network, because we know it's complicated. We know it's like a very technically intimidating protocol. So we've tried to make sure that, the education path is within the Zealy as alongside all the other smaller quests, so that you can get all the information you need. So that's probably my best advice for getting started with the testnet. Jump on the Zealy, start your path on there. And check out the current DevNet, because it will give you a lot of clues and a lot of experience, practical experience in getting going with that. Okay, everyone. So that's everything I have for you today as far as the testnet from my side. So Hoss, Chris, or Triggs, do you have any final questions before we jump on? Chris, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have more a question which I've seen in the community. It's because it is so technical and it's not so easy to understand from like when you just start with it. Do you plan to do other documents or videos or whatsoever what are easier to understand, or is that something you would like to have from the community itself?
No, so that is something we 100% intend to do. So our goal is to make documentation. So what we've done is we created all this like super technical and highly conceptual kind of content in the last couple of years, which explains the protocol, explains its technical underpinnings, explains the philosophy and the reasoning why we're building it. But it's all that documentation, as I'm sure you've already seen if you've looked at the research section on our website. It's all very, very, very low level and very technical in nature. Even the conceptual stuff is very technical in nature, or a very high reading level anyway. So one of our primary goals over the next couple of weeks and obviously months, but especially over the next couple of weeks, is to produce content that breaks down that the mission and the tech into bite-sized chunks. So I'm talking like YouTube shorts, things of that nature, 1-minute segments, like 4-minute reads, things like that, that break down each individual part of Galactica, and that's relevant at the time, and makes that understandable to just about anyone. So that's one of our goals, and then hopefully we're kind of relying on the Sentinels and the community, you guys who are supporting our project at this ridiculously early stage, to push that content, to reuse that content, to shout, to make it loud. Because right now, you've seen our community grow. It's like 3x'd in the last week or so. We've got a lot of new people, a lot of fresh faces, awesome faces, which I absolutely adore. I've already made friends with a bunch of new people, which is absolutely amazing. And I just need you guys to shout. That's what it is. right now. We're trying to make sure that, now we've built all this amazing tech, we've had all these amazing ideas, we've got, we're up to the testnet stage. We need our community to shout out, to shout it to the mountaintops. So that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to simplify it for you, and hopefully once we've done that, you guys can take that stuff, you can repurpose it, you can send it out, you can do what you want with it, and try and make other people understand too. So that's the goal with that, Chris. Okay. So speaking of shouting out, I don't know if you guys have noticed. There's a new section. Well, not a new section, but a section that's been recently opened up again on the Discord, which is the art section. I've been absolutely adoring some of your guys' contributions. I just wanted to say that if you want something that you can post on socials, a lot of the stuff in the artwork section is absolutely brilliant to just share underneath any posts about Galactica. It will really add some flair to your social posts, so make sure you make use of that content. So that's just something I wanted to add there. Okay, everyone. Well, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to go through for the testnet today, guys. I don't want to make this space like a ridiculously long one. I want it to be like as concise as I can be. And I just wanted to say thank you very much, Frederick, for coming on and answering the more technical stuff. Really appreciate you, man.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure to be a part of the space.
No worries, man. It's always good to have you up. And I just wanted to say also thank you to Hoss and to Triggs and to Chris for coming up and supporting as well. So hopefully, Hoss, man, I hope you learned something today as far as like Galacticos and the testnet and stuff. I hope you had a good time, man.
I always have a good time, man. I love talking shop, love learning, just vibing out, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I'm excited. What was the, I know you said this before, and I'm not ringing a bell, but when was hopefully go-to-market, like good to go, ready to go? Cool.
Okay, so right now, as far as our roadmap goes, we've got like 2 seconds. I actually had it up just in front of me. I do enjoy having things prepared. So this testnet is probably going to last until the end of Q2, I imagine. We're also going to have like the initial mainnet phase, probably from like between Q2 and Q3. And then from then on, we're kind of aiming for a token generation event between Q3 and 4. So that's pretty much it there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's not too far away. It'll go really fast, right? Like,
oh man, there's an unreal amount of stuff to come out between then and now.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's crazy. But it's gonna be fun because it's something different, right? Like, I was saying it earlier. I always say that, but I'm a money finance background, but it gets kind of boring at times when you want to do something different, So it's gonna be kind of fun just from that premise, something different than just another DeFi protocol.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to be interacting with real world and social protocols, guys. Like you're going to have all the DeFi stuff for sure. You're going to have all the stuff that you know and love from blockchain and DeFi. It's just going to be better because it has real humans involved. There's less civil vulnerabilities. There's reputation that enhances everything. Like, reputation enhanced DeFi isn't just some stupid buzzword. It's like it enables you to have capital efficiency that's close to TradFi. It's like, people know who you are and they can trust you. It means you can pay less for a loan. It's just that simple. It's the same thing as real life. It brings real world efficiencies to blockchain while maintaining your human rights and privacy, of course. That's the goal. So there's a bunch of benefits here, and if you want to take a look at the use cases, some of the stuff that's just unique to Galactica, there's a use cases deck on the front page of the website. So I highly recommend you check that out. There's too many things in there for me to list, but like just bringing humanity onto blockchain, it changes the game completely. It's just a different thing.
And what else too? Not that I don't enjoy doing these spaces, but it'll be kind of fun once we're live and people can do things and we can talk about it, right? And we can kind of just vibe out on that too. So it kind of breaks up just doing the normal like current events and things like that. It's like, hey, like this is what's launched today, or someone builds something, and then you can talk about it. So that'll give us more content, more things to talk about. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. No, it's been absolutely great vibing out with you for the last few months on just like whatever the hell's going on. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
It's been a while. I feel like I don't even know how many months it's been. You would probably know. Time
I think it's nearly been a year. It's nearly been a year.
It's been a while. That's what I mean. And a year in this space, it's like dog years, right? It's like 7 years. You know, it's just space is like it's insane because it's just so much data and so much going on. And it doesn't sleep, and we don't sleep. You know, so
we do not sleep. No.
I told myself I'm trying to get more because man, my body was just so mad at me after East Denver. It was like, dude, you need to just like actually get some sleep. Stop waking up in the middle of the night, going on the computer, and then taking power naps all the time. Just like actually sleep at least 6 hours, or I'm gonna hurt you. That's what my body told me, literally. So I was like, all right, I gotta listen to you.
You need to listen to your body, man. I know the feeling. Yeah. Like it knows what it wants. It knows what it needs, and sleep is often at the top of that list.
Yeah, and I looked at the mirror. I was like, I think it was yesterday, or the day before. I looked in the mirror. I was like, God damn, I look like a mess right now. Like I got the worst bags I've ever seen in my life under my eyes. I was like, yeah, I need to get some sleep.
That's what I invited CosmosHOSS onto video for this space. He said, no, he's not a video guy, he says. Now I understand.
Yeah, that maybe that's kind of why one of them. But maybe eventually I will. I'll take off the synonymous YouTube and Twitter type vibes. People see me in person then, but it's kind of nice to be at like events. Like I was at a couple events in Denver, and some people recognize me from like previous events, but sometimes a lot of people would come by, oh, you sound familiar, and then they would like, are you CosmosHOSS? And I'm like, yeah, I guess my voice stands out a little bit, but yeah, it's nice to just kind of blend in. That's just how my personality is. I like to just blend in.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And you do have a very distinctive, very nice voice, I must admit. And maybe we can just like put your bad kid over your face or something on video. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe do like a marshmallow thing. You know, he always wears the marshmallow helmet or whatever you want to call it. Just like go to events with my bad kid over my face.
We need to make you a physical mask. That would be awesome.
I would wear it. It'd be kind of fun.
No. Not like a proper mask. Like a circle on a stick. That's what I'm thinking. You just hold it in front of your face all the time.
Exactly. You got to be bad kid style. It's got to be hand drawn on a paper plate with a rubber band on it.
That's what Shogun does from Bear Chain. He just wears that like bear thing the whole time. It's kind of funny. He was on stage talking, and yeah, that was a vibe. The Bearapalooza. It was the wild event. It was too much for me. I was like, yeah, I had to. It was like Cheech and Chong everywhere. If you like that smell, then you're good at that place. But good times, man. Crypto's a fun, wild adventure. I'll tell you that much.
It's the best adventure, man. It really is. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Chris, I don't know, Chris or Triggs, I don't know if you guys have any last thoughts to say or anything you want to just get out, or if you just want to say goodbye, sayonara, you're welcome to if you wish to. I got away from Chris. I appreciate that. Triggs?
Yeah, just thanks again for a great space. It was fun. It was really enjoyable listening to you guys talk about the testnet and getting all the questions answered. I had a handful of questions ready in case they didn't get asked, but everybody asked what I was already wondering. So super informative space. I really appreciate you guys getting willing to get a little technical and dive into this stuff for those of us who, want to get the details on that kind of stuff.
We will always try and get you out as much information, as much depth as humanly possible, as quickly as possible. That's our goal right now, guys. And as Chris said, also, we'll also try and simplify it as well, if at all humanly possible, so that as many people can actually can gain that knowledge as well. So thank you very much, guys. I think I just want to add on one thing, and that's Seaborg. So we were talking about like our previous catalog. Like Hoss says, we've been going for nearly a year, or even maybe over a year. I have no idea. It's been too long. But in any case, we've got a very vast previous catalog of spaces, most of which are now available on the Seaborg beta app. So check them out. Very, very cool little new app coming out. It's turning spaces into podcasts and doing all sorts of cool social things. So definitely worth a click if you can find them on the X app, on the Bird app, whatever it's called. And yeah, thank you very much for your questions, everyone. Thank you very much for coming and listening. Check out the pinned tweet, and that's for our Galaxy campaign, or get you started. You know what, Frederick? Please, what's up, man?
Yeah, last thing I wanted to mention is that also I'm really grateful for everyone participating in the Twitter space, participating in the testnet as validator or as user, and I'm really excited because I think on the one hand we can show off the progress of how Galactica network is developing, but on the other hand I'm also really excited to learn about all the things we don't know yet. So I guess there's a lot to learn about how users want to use it, how operators how the operator experience is, and I'm really excited that we are getting more decentralized in a way that not just our internal team is working on it, but that more and more of the community is also able to participate and to build and to run the validators and so on. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity.
Well said, Frederick. Well said. And yes, like I think you will soon begin to understand just the scope of the protocol that you're involved with. Like there's a reason why we call it a cipher state. Like that particular word state. Like it's a societal group. It's you guys owning your own on-chain nation. That's as succinctly as I can put the scope of this thing. So once you have all these really cool use cases that are brought on by having like a Sybil-resistant protocol, you've got your cool DeFi that's like 10 times more efficient. You've got your Sybil-resistant airdrops. You've got all these wicked like just cool use cases that are better than other blockchains, right? But once you have people on a blockchain, it becomes societal infrastructure itself. The protocol itself becomes something akin in scope to a true nation state. Like once we get enough people on that kind of infrastructure, you can compete in in financial and social capital with a small country, and that's the kind of scope we're aiming for here, guys. It's the kind of thing where like once we have that financial and social capital on chain, you can start talking about having soft diplomatic power. You can start talking about making real change in the physical world with having this free, fair, and sovereign infrastructure backing it up, unstoppable infrastructure. So it's big in scope. We're starting with the small. We've done the DevNet. We've got our KYC, our ZK KYC frameworks all smoothed out, looking really good. We've got the testnet coming up. We've got our validators. We've got our reputation framework, and we've got our governance, proto-governance. So, this is just baby steps. This is just baby steps before we start running, guys. So I'm really, really happy to have you guys along with the ride. So thank you for coming along. Okay, guys, this is actually a weekly space. We do this every Wednesday at 2100 hours UTC. So we'd be very, very thankful for you to come along to the next one. As we're just leaving, please give us a like and a retweet on the way out. We're very thankful you came to see us. And we will see you next time on the next episode of Into the Cipher State. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you soon.